off, Dan?
Absolutely. Again, given the circumstances of this point, how do you feel the performance was just a few days after the Wolves game?
I think we did well. We improved a lot of things that compared to the last game. We controlled quite well the aggressivity of the offensive from Leeds. We controlled well 1-against-1. A really good environment, a really fun environment, and they did well. We controlled more the possession, the connection, the position of the players. I think they were in the better positions to play, and that can show in the way we played. We had more chances than the opponent to score, but we need to now to think about the next one.
In terms of Joshua's Xerxes and Mateusz Cunha, the assist and goal, how important is that to be for both of them, especially with the creative players you have out?
It's really important. I think Ben improved in the connection today. Josh, the 20 minutes that he played, he was active. He was creating chances, creating spaces for us. So it's important. Also, Manu played better today and helped the team also to create chances. Was better than last week.
You made a big decision in the summer when Rasmus went away to bring Benjamin in. His goals are not there. Could you just explain what he's bringing to the team, because he missed a couple of chances?
First of all, to miss the chances that he's missing is always there. And that is the first step. He's really aggressive when the ball goes to the side. He's really aggressive when he has to fight for the first ball. Of course, when you look at the game of a striker, if you miss chances, they will say that the player did everything wrong. I don't agree. I think he's in the right position. He just needs to score one, and then all the weight that he has on top of him is going to disappear, and he's going to be better.
Mark?
Just on Sesko, there was a couple of occasions in the first half where he was really frustrated at the inability of people like Dallo and Shaw to get the ball so quickly. Do you think that the players are not finding quickly that the balls to him are too slow or too late? Does he need better service?
No, I think we did. If you tell me that in the different game today, no, we need to have possessions, especially in this kind of environment. If we are losing the ball all the time, if we are trying to be the team that we was in the past with a lot of transitions all the time, we don't want to play like that. We want to prepare better the way we played. We play better than compared to the last week. And we were talking 2 seconds ago about the chances that Ben had. So we are creating chances for Ben. He just need to score one, and then all the weight is going to be easy for Ben. So we are creating chances for the strikers.
Sorry, and again, do you feel like there's been an upgrade on the player that went out in Rasmus Højlund to bring in Benjamin Sesko?
Is the characteristics of the player. Ben is completely different from Rasmus. Rasmus had this moment here. He move on. We bring Sesko. We will try to Sesko to score goals.
Is he keeping his morale high even though the goals?
Of course, he needs to. The pressure of being the striker for Manchester United. He's doing the right things. He needs to improve the last moment. That is the most important moment, because he did things that he did well today. He just needs to score one.
Tyrone?
Hi Ruben. Josh's impact coming off the bench there, we've not seen a lot of that times this season for an attacking player making an impact off the bench. Is that why you'd be reluctant to lose a player like that in this window? Obviously he's been linked with Roma. You kind of need somebody who can come on and change the game, and thought he did that the week.
No, Josh needs to be prepared to play in every game, and all the players need to be ready to play. If you play 20 minutes, you need to play 20 minutes to help the team. He does that, so he's a player from our team, and that's it.
Last question for James.
Ruben, even in difficult moments this season, you're always very upbeat. Obviously, just on Friday, you look pretty downbeat. Obviously, talking about transfers and systems. Can I just ask? Is nothing's changed? You still feel very much that confidence from the board and everything still?
Guys, to stop with that, and I noticed that you receive selective information about everything. I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach of Manchester United. And that is clear. I know that my name is not Tuchel, is not Conte, is not Mourinho, but I'm the manager of Manchester United. and it's going to be like this for 18 months, or when the board decided to change. So that was my point. I want to finish with that. I'm not going to quit. I will do my job until other guy is coming here to replace me.
Do you feel that, you know, maybe certain assurances around things about the ability to manage this team that you thought you had? Do you not feel that?
I just want to say that I'm going to be the manager of this team, not just the coach, and I was really clear on that. And that is going to finish in 18 months, and then everyone is going to move on. That was the deal. That is my job, not to be a coach. If people cannot handle the Gary Nevilles and the criticisms of everything, we need to change the club. No, guys, I just want to say that I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach. And every department, the scouting department, the sport director needs to do their job. I will do mine for 18 months, and then we move on.
Right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. When you were appointed, David Fletcher as the head coach.
That's his contract.
What does it mean? Question.
Basically said I'm leaving in 18 months.
Thank you.
Osmo's contract is
Of course he did. He said in 18 months everyone moves on.
Then he said in
He repeated several times. In 18 months.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
He said everyone moves on.
the way he's talking is like that.
Hello, hello.
Good afternoon. We'll go around in our usual order. Locals first, after Sky. Up to 2 questions each. Anyone else will take questions after. Daniel, when you're ready.
Afternoon, Daniel. I just wonder, what's your overall feeling after that game, especially having taken the lead?
First of all, I have to say I'm proud of my lads because it was, of course, a tricky circumstances for us. We had to go over the line 2.5 days ago away at Liverpool to earn a hard-fought clean sheet. Then several key players out and not available for today. We even had Sean Longstaff back in the squad, although I would never do this after such a long-term injury without really having a proper team session. But I wanted his personality and maturity a bit in the dressing room. And then to face a side of the caliber of Man United is of course difficult. And yeah, by the way, everyone tells you how big this game is. It's the most important game in the recent history of Leeds United. Lots of expectations, and to go into this game is then tricky. So for that, I'm very proud of the mentality of my players to show resilience again. Normally, for Sepp, Bono and JJ and Ilya was actually not possible after such a workload to start today. But they had to start today because simply no other players in their positions were available, and showed another very competitive and really good performance. I think football-wise was probably not our best day today, but nevertheless we found a way to be competitive again. So our defensive behavior was in most scenes really spot on, and came also pretty close to win this game, especially after a well-taken goal from Brendan Evans in the second half. So for that, there is even a light disappointment that we didn't take all 3 points, if I'm really honest, because then the equalizer was of course very unnecessary. But perhaps this says also a lot if you are 7 games unbeaten on Premier League level as a newly promoted side, and are even disappointed with just a draw against Man United, although many key players are missing. But I can't help myself a bit. This feeling is there. I think it was definitely possible to win this game. For that, yes, I'm not over the moon with this result, but I'm over the moon with the mentality of my lads today and the spirit, and that we showed another competitive performance.
Just on that point, Daniel, I mean, over the last month, unbeaten against the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, this big game against Manchester United, how much will that give your side confidence going into this?
Yes, we know we are good and competitive side, and of course it gives confidence if you have the momentum. But it's also we won't lose the ground. We will stay humble, and we know we always have to invest everything, also from the physical output, to show this competitive performances. And we need to be spirited and tied together because we don't have the best individual quality, but with our tools we can be successful and can win points on this level. And for that, another good point for achieving our goals, but. Yes, during this season, 22 points won't be enough to stay in this league. We need to win a few more, and for that, yeah, we have to keep going. And also want to make sure that after another quick turnaround, we also on Wednesday night then competitive away at Newcastle.
Great.
And when do you expect to have Jaden Bogle back?
Hopefully already for Newcastle, because of course it was always the plan to play him today after we've rested him, but yeah, somehow he picked up some calf problems. It's a minor calf problem. We've scanned him. Hopefully already for Newcastle. Otherwise, then probably on the other side of the FA Cup game. That's definitely a fact. But we will miss him at the moment. At least it looks like for maximum one more game.
What was your analysis of the goal that they scored, and how disappointed were you with the timing of it?
Yes, of course it's disappointing, and normally I don't like to speak too much about mistakes and individual mistakes anyhow, but yeah, it's also like it was obvious. Lucas took the wrong decision, came off his line. If he stays on his line, then it's probably not even a chance because Cunha was running away from the goal, and Sepp and Jaka were close to him, and he opened somehow the goal, and then with a long leg he could more or less put the ball in the direction of the goal. Was probably the wrong decision. Otherwise, we probably would have won this game because we didn't allow really much more in this situation. Of course, it was disappointing, but you have to take decisions during the game, and probably this was then from his point of view the wrong decision. Yeah, not a problem. We win together, we lose together, we draw together like today. He was also there with a good save in the first half. So yes, of course he could have done better in this situation, and was an unnecessary to come off his line. But you have to make a decision within the split of a second anyhow, and in this case it was probably the wrong decision.
Based on what you saw on the pitch, did you feel those extra 48 hours did make a difference?
You can't really say it because even in the last minutes we were closer also to win the game. Joe Pirou had twice the chance to be there with a finish, and we went for it even in the last minutes. It was perhaps not an effect in the last minutes of the game because we looked even a bit closer to win the game, and this is remarkable, especially after Sucker Punch. I think it's not just a physical tiredness, also sometimes a mental tiredness that you're sometimes not quick enough in the head to find the right solution possession. I think it played in general a part with that. It was perhaps football-wise not our best performance, but I wouldn't say that it has affected too much the game in the last minutes. More like the general performance. If we would have been a bit more dominant and better with the ball, I think we could have created even more chances and scored more goals, but you can't really say that in the end we were not able to find another gear, no.
We know that Lucas and Dominic played so well together against Chelsea, and I know injury for Lucas since then has denied you that chance to keep going with that partnership. Lucas is now back. I know he played a lot on Thursday night. Was there any temptation to start with them again, or would it have been too much for Lucas?
A temptation always, because I like my players, but it always depends. Today, obviously, Man United played with 3-man formation, and then you have to press in slightly wider positions. And Lucas is, of course, by nature more a striker than a winger, and for that, also like in this position, you have to play, if you are sitting deeper, really deep in your own half in a 5-4-1. Of course, he can do this anyhow, but it's not like his natural position. Of course, he's a bit more as a striker, and for that we decided then to have this hybrid player with Noah Okafor then on this position, and on the other side with Brendan Aronson. But of course, there was also a thought in my head, but Lucas, also just back from injury, has played 70 minutes against Liverpool, also lots of workload. For me, it was relatively clear that he would get a rest in the beginning of the game, yes.
Daniel, Brandon's in really good form in the moment. Obviously, he's had criticism in the past. Obviously, you work with him day to day. Have you noticed yourself his confidence levels?
Yes, he deserves all the plaudits at the moment because his work rate is and was never in doubt. So he always works his socks off for the team. And the good thing with him is more like he has more clarity in his situations and is a bit more tidy in his solutions, in the passing or in the finishing. There's still space for improve. Even today, there were a few scenes where he could have been a bit more play with a bit more clarity. But nevertheless, it's a really good sign that he's also capable to add end products on this level. Yeah, he has scored goals, he has delivered assists, and is an important player for us at the moment because he embodies really both sides, and our quality in possession, and also to create chances to score goals, and also relentless work against the ball, in the pressing, in the counter pressing, in also sprinting back and defending wide areas. So he's in a really good shape and deserves lots of praise at the moment.
It's been a month now since that win over Chelsea, 7 games unbeaten. I know you're not a man for reflection, but is this past month perhaps your best month as a Premier League manager?
Yes, in terms of points, probably, yeah, because I was just managing before Norwich. I had really no chance to stay in this league, and it's my first season with Leeds United in the Premier League. So for that, I can't say anything else in terms of outcome with points. Yeah, definitely very impressive what we have done, especially keeping in mind that a newly promoted side also struggles during such a busy period, and with the miss of some key players, and all the praise goes to the lads. What they've done in the last weeks is outstanding, and long may it continue.
Stuart.
Daniel, can you just talk us through the growth in Jakob Rio during this unbeaten run? Because understandably, his first few games of the season were difficult for him.
Yes, but that's also what you would expect for a player who has developed during his career in the CV more or less from year to year. He has always adapted step by step to a bigger level, and right now, with all respect, and he came from a proper league, there's no doubt about this, but the quality of the Premier League is a standout, and it's the best league in the world, and especially the way how the football goes in terms of the pace and the tempo and the intensity is something different in comparison to a Serie A, for example. And for that, he needed, of course, a bit time. And right now, once he's playing also regularly, in the beginning he had 1 or 2 mistakes, perhaps also but right now he delivers with consistency. And I mentioned it before, so we have a top player, a top character, also from his mentality, really captain pedigree, and he's an important leader also in our group, and shows fantastic performance at the moment. We're all very happy that we have signed him, but it's still there are always areas where we can and have to improve, but he's on a really good path to be able to label himself also a very proven and a really good defender on Premier League level, and he's doing remarkably well in the last weeks. Yes.
And with so many players on the borderline in terms of their fitness, are you going to have to decide quite late, A, who plays against Newcastle, and B, even what the game plan is in terms of things like just discussing the pressing?
Yes, very late. We have to decide. At the advantage, we have a few hours more between this game and in comparison to the turnaround between Liverpool and Man United. We have at least 3 proper nights. And also then a late kickoff after this time around, early kickoff. Anyhow, that will help a little bit. Of course, I hope that Isna Badu is also then back available. Today he missed, of course, due to his 5th yellow card. So if nothing happens in training in terms of injuries or illnesses, I think he will come back. And important to have our captain, our most important player, back. We'll have to decide if from the minor injuries, Jaden Bogle, for example, is a topic. If he can feature already at Newcastle, it's too soon to say this already. Also for Sean Longstaff, I think beneficial to have at least 2 training days. It's tricky for him after being out for such a long time, and we rarely have a training session together with the team because we have to split the groups anyhow. It's a bit tricky for a player who comes back out of injury, but each every day will help him. And then we will see who is ready to go. So I have my doubts about Sebastian, for example. I have my doubts if JJ can play another game. Ilya, also for him, he has not played too much before. Right now, 2 games, nearly 2 times over the whole distance. We will have to make some late decisions. That's correct. Yes.
Jonathan.
With Brendan, there's
central midfield sort of place that he's playing in the three-back setup now. And I know he's played a number of different positions here and with the United States over the years, but it seems to be one that suits him well and that he does seem sort of familiar with. What's your assessment tactically of how he fits in that spot?
Yes, he can fulfill different roles. He can play as a winger, he can play as number 10, he can even play as a number 8. I think for Bren it's just important that you use him where he can play to his strength. So I would never use him as a winger who just runs to the corner flag and puts some crosses in. So if he plays as a winger, then he has to have the license to move into the pocket, to play closer to the striker, to play give and goes, and to use his mobility, and also that he likes to open up between the lines. So I think it's important, although he's a flexible and versatile player, but that you play him to his strength. And he's of course not the guy who is unbelievably physical, who wins headers anyhow, and you feed him with high balls, and he needs to win the headers anyhow. You need to find him in between the lines and also as close as possible to the striker, as close as possible to the goal. And if you use him then to his strength, then he can shine. And his workload against the ball is never in doubt anyway. Is against the ball in his pressing, in his counter pressing impulse, top class, and his work rate. And again, very important player for us.
Anybody else? No, thank you very much.
Good, thank you. Good to see you tomorrow then, probably, huh?
Exactly.
Good. Have a nice day.
All the best to you. Luck in Ireland. See you.